Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Joining from all points across the Southwest, Wales and beyond. Welcome. I can see you all quietly joining bit by bit. Good afternoon to you all. Welcome to, I can see a few names on this morning, so welcome to you if you joined this morning. Hope you enjoyed the session this morning, and equally hope you enjoyed this afternoon session. I will start, sorry for some of you that were maybe on this morning's, but obviously it is a good news day. You know, A, because it's Australia Day, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, but B, obviously, we're now starting to see the bookings flooding into our business now as a result of the government announcements yesterday, where Grant Shapps finally got rid of the testing for people arriving back into the UK. So from the 11th of February, you no longer require a test. So it opens up for people that have got both jabs, a whole host of places you can go simply by filling a form in to go and filling a form to come back. It is as simple as that. And we haven't been in that situation crazily for almost 2 years now, which takes a bit of getting your head around. But that's where it is. So it's wonderful news, and certainly already caused a big impact to the business that we're seeing coming through us. And also, obviously, you've all joined this afternoon to listen to Michelle talking all things Titan. And she'll probably maybe touch on as well what's happening to them from a sales perspective as a result of the announcement. And actually, it has an awful lot that what she's done on her presentation this afternoon is highlight some of their popular tours, amazingly, that still have availability for this year, because it is incredibly busy. And you might be thinking, how on earth has that happened? You know, we've got COVID going on. Surely their tours can't be well sold. But actually, if you think about it, probably Michelle hasn't had that many people traveling in 2020. Those people changed their holiday to 2021. They couldn't go then either. So they changed that holiday to the year after. And you've also got all the people that were booked for 2021 that moved theirs to 2022 as well. So you've actually got almost 3 years worth of holiday makers all crunched into 1 year. And that's the reason why it is so well sold on, obviously, a lot of the popular tours. But Michelle's been beavering away and found some of their best-selling tours that do still have availability for those that are keen to go away this summer. So without further ado, I will pass you over to Michelle, who it is fair to say is an absolute expert on Titan. So I know it'll be a good session this afternoon. So as ever, please, please, please ask away any questions that you want in the chat facility. Tap the screen, check the chat facility, and I will pick up all those questions at the end with Michelle. So if she says anything that you want further information on, if there's any questions she doesn't cover in a presentation, please ask away in the chat, because I'd love to ask her those questions at the end of the presentation. But Michelle, I will pass over to you.
Thanks, Miles, and good morning. Oh, no, good afternoon, everybody. My day's whizzed by and it's afternoon already. Yeah, I'm going to talk all things Titan. So I'm going to go straight into sharing my screen so I can go through the presentation with you. But as Miles said, if you have any questions, please do put them in the chat and I will endeavour to answer everything at the end. So hopefully now you can see a lovely green elephant. If somebody could just give me a thumbs up to let them know that that's working.
Working perfectly.
Perfect. Now, we did discover there's a few sound issues on this, so I'm going to apologise in advance for anything where the sound isn't perfect, but I'll just talk over it anyway. I love the sound of my own voice. So firstly, a little bit about Titan.
Titan's all about the love of travel. Everybody who works here has a real passion. We all love to go and explore new places, see new things, and really that's what Titan's all about. It's about bringing the magic of the world to life for our customers.
Absolutely unbelievable, just magic. As near perfection as it gets. I was just overwhelmed.
Exhilarating. Breathtaking.
Fabulous. Spiritual.
Experience to behold. This is our 6th Titan tour. They really look after you well, I've got to say. Sometimes certain experiences you get once in a lifetime moments.
So hopefully you can hear that and get a little bit of a taste of what Titan tours are actually like. So why escorted touring, I think, is the first question, the question I get asked the most. And I think really for us, it's about the knowledge and expertise. So with a tour, you've got a ready-made itinerary. It's been very carefully put together by experts, and they know their destination inside out. They know what to see, they know what to skip, they know the routes to take, the best hotels to stay in. And when you're trying to organise this kind of quite complex itinerary, it can be quite overwhelming. So a tour takes all the stress out of you. And really, you are getting great value for money when you look at all the inclusions. All of our excursions and tours are experience-led itineraries. Nobody wants to follow the man with the red umbrella these days. It is about immersing yourself in a destination, touching, seeing, doing. So our tours can centre on things like wine tasting, cookery classes, opportunities to spend a morning at a rural farm in Vietnam, have a local coffee with a local family in Ethiopia. So all the tours really do encompass the activities and the itineraries that you can do. There's a lot of reassurance as well with traveling with a tour. You can get right off the beaten track, but know that you're doing that with others. The tour managers are on hand 24/7, and you also have no language barriers, no parking problems, no navigating unfamiliar roads. It really is the easiest way to travel. And then there's the social aspect, and this is the bit that our customers tell us they love the most. So if you want to be social, it's great. You can meet new friends and you can travel time and time again. And we do have passengers that have met on tours that continue to travel together annually. But if you're not particularly social, if you're an independent spirit and you really just want to use the tour as a base to be able to explore and get from A to B, there's no expectation that you have to be social. There's no expectation that you have to eat in groups. You can come and go as you please within the tour, as long as your tour manager knows that you are on the coach when you're meant to be, and that when you're out and about, he knows that you've gone. That's absolutely fine. Well, with Titan, we have a range of reasons to pick Titan first and foremost. And one of the best and most unique is our early bird price promise. This basically means when you book a tour, we guarantee you the lowest price at the point of booking. So if you're now booking all the way through to October 2023, which you can do because the tours are on sale, we guarantee that that is the lowest price the tour will be. But if it's not, if something changes and we reduce the cost of your holiday after you have booked, we will automatically re-invoice you to the lower cost. So there's none of that having to look at your holiday months after booking and going, oh, I wish I'd waited, it's gone down, it's in the sale now. That doesn't happen with Titan. You've also got our VIP door-to-door on every single holiday. There are no exclusions on this. You get the VIP on every holiday. There are no mileage restrictions. There are no single supplements. And I'll go into a little bit more detail on that because I've got a little video showing that. We also have the protection promise, and we've got our flexi deposit at the moment. And this basically allows you to change your holiday after booking as many times up to balance due stage should you need to due to COVID. We're also using a bond system now for monies. So your money is 100% protected. We are members of ABTA and ATOL, but we now use a trust fund account to ensure those quick deposits are refunded should we need to. So if we cancel a tour, we're actually giving you a 14-day money back guarantee. We've got a COVID cleanliness program that all tour managers and coach drivers have been involved in to ensure that your safety is at the forefront. And again, we're following any social distancing or local hygiene rules as applicable for the tours. So this is the VIP service, and I think it's really important for those people that have never travelled with Titan to see this, because it's not just a taxi to the airport. Our VIP vehicle turns up at your door and you'll meet one of our lovely drivers. Now this guy is called Mark, and again, he's not an actor, he's a genuine Titan driver. They'll take your luggage right from the doorstep, and in theory, that's the only time you need to touch it other than dragging it from the terminal building to check in, because we do include porterage on all of our tours as standard as well. So we take responsibility for getting you to the airport. From your front door to the airport is our responsibility, and therefore we're checking traffic conditions when, again, should there be a problem or a hold up and for any reason you miss your flight, it's on us to rebook you your next alternative, as long as you've taken our advice on pickup times. This also works in reverse. Your driver will be waiting for you when you get back to the airport, and they'll bring you all the way back to your front door. Now, because I've got a lot to talk about today, I am going to skip the rest of this video, but I thought it was good to see the vehicles and the standards that you can expect from Titan. So Titan has a huge product range, and as we come out of COVID and we're reinstalling more and more tours again, currently we've got over 200 tours on sale for 2022-23, and we're adding more all of the time. So we've actually got a couple of tours that aren't actually in the brochure at the minute. They're not on the website, but you can book them, one being Namibia. So what we're most famous for is our escorted tours, but we also have a river cruise program, our Stay and Explore holidays, which generally are European holidays in one location with all your excursions included. And these have been an absolute stalwart through COVID. We have booked more of this than anything else in the early parts of COVID, because people wanted the reassurance of not traveling around lots, but still getting the Titan experience, still getting to see and really explore a destination. So these have been phenomenal sellers. There are some availability issues on some of the destinations, but I have got a couple for you today. We have rail holidays, which are tours where either rail is the focus or a big expedition on the trip itself. We do have some UK short breaks. I've not included any today purely because I can't give you any availability on them. There's sort of little rooms here and there. If a UK break is something you want, do speak to Miles Morgan staff and they will hunt down what availability we've got, but it is limited. We do have some special small group tours where the tour size starts from as low as 12 and goes up to a maximum of 24. These tours are a little bit more in depth, they're a bit more off the beaten track, and they allow us to really absorb into a destination for you. These are very popular. They do have a slightly higher price point, but again, the experiences are there to match that. And then we have our solo holidays, which, as the title suggests, these are dedicated to solo travellers. Now, I have got a little video. I'm hoping you can hear this.
As a single traveller, Titan is a good thing for me to come on because people are so friendly when you're on your own, and generally there is another single traveller there. And a lot of ladies come together, so they'll befriend you and you befriend them, but just everybody is so friendly.
I've heard good reports from people who've been on a Titan holiday, so I knew that they looked after you very well.
It's a nice way of meeting up with other people. Increasingly so, I found more singles, widowers who go along.
In the evening I went out with 6 widows and we had a very interesting, a very enjoyable evening, and that's what I like about holidays, meeting people and having a good laugh.
I've got a fantastic coach, which is really good. Some of my fellow passengers might have made me laugh. This is the first holiday that I've ever done like this. It's a really good experience and I would do it again.
Big draws was the single supplement. For this trip, they're not charging us anything extra, and I've got a very big room.
We have a lot of single travellers that come with us on holiday, and so we are always looking to develop and expand the number of holidays we can offer.
I found Titan very, very friendly, being looked after the whole of the way. I could definitely recommend Titan, and I would look at them again if I was going to travel, for sure.
I find Titan very, very professional. Everyone I spoke to were absolutely first class.
So we have a saying at Titan, you can travel solo but never alone, and I think that video really shows the camaraderie that our solo trips get. Next I'd like to talk to you is river cruises, and this is probably one of my most favourite things, and I don't think it's very difficult to see why river cruises have grown in popularity. There isn't a better way to experience a unique viewpoint of an area than passing it by very slowly in a riverboat. You get a chance to soak up the area, take in the scenery, and it changes right before your very eyes, and then you flow very gently right into the heart of some of the most beautiful cities in the world. And with Titan, you really do have a wide choice of variety of ships and cruise styles to suit all budgets and tastes. So we have 2 ships of our own, but we also work with river cruise partners. Now, I've left the Pandora River Cruise logo on there because obviously we all know that they unfortunately, sadly departed travel a couple of months ago, but we have just had news that they're hoping to relaunch. So I'm fingers crossed that we can reintroduce those in the next couple of months. But we deal with people like Douro Azul, who are the Spirited Chartwell out on the Douro in Portugal. We've got Volga Dream in Russia, Crozier Europe, which is a beautiful selection of sort of French river barge ships, and they're fabulous. Lufner Cruises, Arosa, and the American Steamboat Company out on the Mississippi. So in terms of our own ships, we have the MS River Discovery. Now, she has been tastefully refurbished and she's our most spacious ship to date. And she's got a fabulous range of facilities. So if you're looking for a Danube River cruise, then the River Discovery will be sailing most of her sailings next year on this river. Now, she's going to go through the Wacar Valley vineyards and the elegant culture-filled cities along the way. We also have MS Serenade 1, who's kind of like my little baby. She was my first river cruise ship I ever sailed on, and I absolutely adore her. She's been welcoming Titan guests since 2017. Now, we treated her to a full makeup, adding very plush new furnishings, beautiful artwork, and a few stylish design touches. She only carries a maximum of 130 passengers. So she's smaller than most other river cruise lines, but she has a very intimate river cruise experience. She's got plenty of space on board, so don't be fooled by the low capacity, because actually she's got loads of social space, and the cabins are actually some of the largest in her class. And quite uniquely, they all have baths as well as showers on Serenade 1, so quite a nice one. She's going to do most of her sailings on the Rhine, as well as the Moselle and the Dutch Waterways cruises. And again, just beautiful medieval cities and towns on those cruises. I've got a couple of little offers that have some availability for you, so I wanted to talk to you about. We have our Treasures of the Rhine cruise. Now, this is an 8-day tour, and we've got some availability left, starting from just $1,299 per person on the 26th of October. Now, on Serenade 1 and River Discovery 2, we actually include drinks with all lunches and dinners. So you can have beers, wines, and soft drinks to your heart's content, really, through those meals. This tour includes 7 breakfasts, 6 lunches, 7 dinners, so it's pretty much full board. It's lunch on the first day because you don't arrive till later in the day is the only meal that's missing there. You've got 4 excursions included. You get to do the cogwheel train and the Lake Lucerne cruise. There's a Strasbourg city tour, including the canal cruise there as well, which I've got to say, if you haven't done, I fully recommend, really enjoyed it. Clabenz city tour with the fortress, and I'm not going to mispronounce the name of the fortress because I always do, but definitely worth a visit. We had a fabulous time up there. And then there's a walking tour in Bonn as well. So with this one, you're winding your way through 3 European cities by the continent's most impressive waterway, the Rhine. Excursions on this river cruise take you from magical natural landscapes to soaring man-made edifices and in between. So you get the rich history and culture. And if you're passionate about fascinating castles and the cathedrals of Central Europe, or if you're just in awe of the scale of the forests, the mountains and the waters, this really is a perfect river cruise for you. Next, I have the Dutch Waterways and the Beauty of Keukenhof. Again, this has got some availability early this year, and both of these river cruises I have actually sailed on myself. So the Dutch Waterways one, so this is historic canal-laced streets of Amsterdam to cutting-edge Rotterdam. This spring cruise will take you on the journey of quintessentially Dutch experiences. You'll wander wide-eyed around the kaleidoscope of Keukenhof Gardens, where rows of millions of tulips are set to burst into bloom. Sip coffee in the canalside cafes in Utrecht, or explore the series of awe-inspiring Delta works. You also float right into Belgium for the day to explore the city of Antwerp. So that's the official blurb. What I can say about this is I had the most amazing experience on this river cruise. To see the windmills, to visit the cheese factories, to visit the clog houses, it was all there, everything. A stunning, stunning trip. It's 8 days. It goes on the 2nd of April. It starts from 1399. Again, drinks are all included with lunch and dinner, and it's pretty much full board on that trip. I'm then going to push you a little further afield. Now, I did ask our tour managers for tours that had some availability. Now, the Deluxe Alaskan Voyage wasn't one that they included. However, I have found a few dates available on this one, but I can't leave it out. I absolutely love this tour. It's my #1 favourite Canadian tour. So you've got the Deluxe Alaskan Voyage and the Rocky Mountaineer. So it's just a fabulous, fabulous mixture. You're pairing the two. And you really can't see enough. So you get the national parks, you get the lakes, you get the mountains. You're going to have a few days in Banff and Jasper. You get to experience the Rocky Mountaineer with the overnight. You get the Columbian Icefields Glacier experience on that one as well. So it's a perfect tour. I love it. So I chucked it in as an extra. But sticking with Canada, we have got the Rockies and the Alaska Grand Discovery. Now, this has got some availability on the 1st of June this year, and we have actually applied a £200 per person saving. So it's down to just £3,499 per person. And again, that early bird deposit system comes in. So anybody that had booked this a year or even 2 years ago has just received a cheque back from us for £200 per person back, because we've reduced the cost of their holiday. This one, you basically get to blend a dramatic Canadian mountain scenery with the rugged Alaska shoreline. It's an 18-day cruise and tour holiday, so you're going to get to see some of the most wonderful delights in two of North America's most glorious regions. Journey to the mountain town of Banff, which is the gateway to the awe-inspiring Canadian Rockies and the glittering Lake Louise. You get to admire the iconic landscapes of Jasper National Park and sightsee in vibrant Vancouver. Then it's time to swap the Canadian Rockies for an Alaska cruise, and you'll set sail on the elegant Zura Dam or the Volendam, and you're windowed to Alaska's immense coastal splendour. Again, 5 excursions included on this trip. Again, you get the Columbian Ice Glacier Adventure, and you get a lovely interpretive talk in Jasper. This is based on Silverleaf on Rocky Mountaineer. I did send Miles Morgan a list of dates where we do still have Rocky Mountaineer availability, when we know Rocky Mountaineer have actually sold out direct, but we hold allocations on these. So we have some extra availability that they don't have, which is great for us. We have got some Gold Leaf upgrades available. Gold Leaf at the moment is $499 per person on top if you wish to upgrade. And what I would say is, having experienced it myself, if it's within your budget to do so, it's a once in a lifetime thing to do. And I would absolutely wholeheartedly recommend that you do. Not only do you get the cart dining rather than dining in your seat, you actually get to go down to the dining cart and sit down and have a meal served. You also get access to the outdoor platform, as well as the panoramic windows that come right the way over the dome. Next, we have our Across Canada tour. Now, this is an epic tour. It's 16 days. You've got Montreal, Quebec City, Ottawa, Vancouver, Toronto, 16-day tour, and it boasts a stellar lineup of the big name cities, plus natural highlights like Niagara Falls and the Canadian Rockies, which you'll travel through on the Rocky Mountaineer again. It's a brilliant holiday for Canada first timers as well, because you get to tick off some of the wish list worthy highlights. Joe, I'm going to relight that line for next time. I can't get it out straight. And you get to travel the breadth of the Great White North, enjoying the fantastic wildlife and the awe-inspiring landscapes and world famous hospitality along the way. Again, there's the opportunity to upgrade to Gold Leaf on this one. We have got a couple of meals included on this one, so 5 meals, 3 breakfasts, 2 lunches. 6 excursions and visits included, with guided tours in Montreal, Quebec City, Ottawa and Vancouver, plus the full day trip into Niagara. Again, at Niagara, we do include some of the water activities, but if you do wish to upgrade, we have options to do Made in the Mist as an optional excursion, or the helicopter tour. So moving on, I don't know if anybody's seen this. I got incredibly excited by Rocky Mountaineer. So I'm going to get another little video. It's only short. What I want to just show you is this window that you can see now, very quickly, was the Gold Leaf by comparison. So Gold Leaf there, that you can see at the back with those dome windows. Oh no, I'm playing again. So Rocky Mountaineer has launched in the US this year, and it's an absolutely amazing itinerary. So we have the Rocky Mountaineer and Great USA National Parks. This is our only USA tour that includes a rail journey as well. And because I'm a bit of a rail geek, it's now on my to-do list. So it's a fantastic tour. It starts in Denver and finishes in Las Vegas. And you get the Rocky Mountaineer on some of the most iconic national parks. So the tour covers 4 US states. You're going to do Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and Nevada. You get a 2-night stay in Denver, where you can do a city tour, and then you have plenty of time at leisure to really go and explore the city. 2 days traveling on board Rocky Mountaineer with a stop and a 1-night stay in Glenwood Springs. Again, I don't know if everybody knows this. It's one of those things we all just assume you do. You don't actually sleep on Rocky Mountaineer. Your Rocky Mountaineer experience is a 2-day tour on the Rocky Mountaineer, but they actually take you off the train, put you in a hotel overnight and bring you back to the train. And that's all part of the Rocky Mountaineer package, so that they set the standard of hotel for that tour element. and it's absolutely fantastic. You've then got 4 Utah's well-known national parks included. So you're going to visit Arches, Canyonland, Bryce, and Zion, as well as a full-day visit to the Grand Canyon. So it's one of these tours that really ticks off everything that you could want to do in that Red Center. Fabulous dates, plenty of dates available on this one. What I would say is the May dates are pretty booked, but we do have some July availability. Another one that was sent to me by the product teams, where again, lots of dates have sold out, but I do have just a few spaces left on the 21st of May this year. If you are looking to get away, this is an absolutely stunning tour. So you visit canyons, you've got the bizarre rock formations, the rugged arches and skyscraping spires all feature on this adventure through the American West. So traveling from Colorado through the wide open landscapes of Arizona, Utah, Wyoming and South Dakota, 8 spectacular US national parks, including Yellowstone, Arches and Grand Canyon, and we're in the spiritual homelands of the Navajo and the Cheyenne, so you'll also gain insight into the Native American culture and tradition as the tour unfolds. This one's heavy with excursions. You've got 14 excursions included on this tour, and things like you've got entrance to the Crazy Horse Memorial included, and the Mount Rushmore National Memorial is including the light show as well. Some really lovely trips on that one, and I think if anyone goes, can they take lots of pictures, because it's definitely on my bucket list. I want to go and see this lake at the bottom. Now on to again our top selling tour. California and the Golden West is where Titan Travel started. This was the very, very first tour that Hugh and Irvine, who were the brothers that started Titan Travel, put together. And 43 years on, we still have the tour featured in the brochure, and it's still a #1 selling tour. So you have got 16 days. It starts from $2,999 per person on the 16th of June. Again, this has got a £200 per person saving included. Basically, you travel in a loop around California and you nudge into the neighboring Nevada and Arizona. You've got cities like Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and San Francisco. You drive along Route 66 and the Pacific Coastal Road and the spectacular scenery of Yosemite National Park. You get 2 nights in Flagstaff, which is the gateway into the Grand Canyon as well. So absolutely amazing tour. There's no meals included on this one because the variety and options for eating out are vast on this tour. Some of the highlights for me on this one is the 17-mile drive. It's just a stunning trip. Staying a little bit closer to home now, I have looked at quite a few for Europe. And again, picking out some of my favourites is Puglia, the Discover the Heel of Italy. So this is just a stunning tour. Countryside that's blanketed with olive groves. You've got the historic cities, the fairy tale towns, the coastline stretching for 800 kilometres. Puglia is a rich region filled with simple pleasures. So on this tour, you'll spend 8 days winding through the quiet landscapes, discovering the Baroque Lecce, which is the Florence of the South, and then the traditional Trulli houses of Alberobello, and we'll even stretch into the neighbouring region of Basquilia and to visit Matera and its ancient cave dwellings, which is the picture in the centre of that picture. So 12 meals, you got 7 breakfasts, 5 dinners on this one, 13 inclusions and visits. And I say we've got quite a few dates with some availability. We've got 23rd of May, 13th of June and 24th of June for anyone that is hoping to get away somewhere close to home this summer. Sicily, stunning island break. So it's a real unique mixture of culture born of years of foreign domination. So you've got all that from the Venetians to the Bourbons, and each has left quite an architectural stamp in Sicily. So the island's got a jumble of historic sites like Palmero and Syracuse. And then as we circle the island, you'll also see one of Sicily's other treasures. So the Valley of the Temples, the postcard Pretty Taormina, which again is the picture on the screen. And it's all about sites on the Sicily tour. We also sip wine and produce the slopes of Mount Etna and the rich taste of Modica chocolate and the almond infused biscuits. So lots to do and see on this Sicily tour. 18 excursions included again, and again it's very heavy on the meals. So you've got 9 breakfasts, 2 dinners and 7 evening meals over 10 days. So you have got the opportunity to eat out locally as well and go and experience on your own. A highlight on this one for me is definitely the chocolate tasting. I've definitely love to go and visit the bakery as well in Arisi. Scooting through some of these, we started a new type of tour in 2020, which was obviously a great time to launch something new. So everything got delayed a little bit, but we have our cruise and tour product now. Now this travels in the summer months. We've got dates in June and August, although the August date has already sold out. So it's 18 days, starts on 3199 going on the 8th of June. You've got a 5-night tour followed by a 12-night cruise. So 2 nights on the shores of Lake Majore with a full boat trip to the Borroman Islands. Again, you get to visit the Chocolate Swiss factory, and then you've got overnight in the heart of St. Moritz, passing Lake Como en route. Then you get to travel on the Bonnier Express. And I did mention earlier that I'm a bit of a train geek, so this is what really piqued it for me. You get to do the panoramic carriage, and this is the highest railway. It goes across the Alps between St. Moritz and Ticino. 2 nights in Lake Garda with a boat trip on the lake, and then you join the cruise. Again, included on the cruise at the moment, you have got optional experience to the site of ancient Olympia. You've got Acropolis and Ephesus, all part of that trip. Another one that I just fell in love with on the cruise and tour package is our Best of Norway trip. So this really ticked all the boxes for me because you get to do some amazing railways. So the Best of Norway is mountains, fjords by land, rail and sea, and starts from just 3,499 per person. So you get to travel on the breathtaking Flom Railway, which is one of the most stunning train journeys in the world. Then you'll visit some of Norway's most beautiful fjord scenery by coach from Bergen to Alesund. Then you travel on the Roma Railway, which is the wildest and most beautiful train journey in Norway. And then you do the Eagle Road, which is 2,030 foot above sea level, and you get to do the breathtaking views over Geringer Ford. So it's a really lovely, very scenic trip on this one. And then again, you join the cruise. So you cross into the Arctic Circle with the chance to visit the most northern point in Europe, the North Cape, and at the top of the world where the Atlantic Ocean meets the Arctic Ocean. You'll get to experience the midnight sun where the sun never sets, and you'll cruise along the most scenic coastal route in the world. And it's one of Havila's new eco ships. So you're gliding almost silently along the fjords using battery power. You also get to visit the coolest hotel in the world. We do a guided tour of the Kirkenes Snow Hotel. And outside you can see the reindeers and huskies that live near and around the hotel. So I just think this is such a lovely trip that encompasses so much. 2023 tours are on sale now. I promised Miles that I wouldn't go on for ages and ages about these, but I have just got a few that I wanted to highlight, and especially with it being Australia Day. So Australia tours are selling immensely quickly. Sorry. Bless me. As Miles said, we've had 2 years of cancellations for Australia, and Australia was one of our #1 selling destinations anyway. We do have some fabulous trips here. So Best of Australia, I actually did a condensed version of this tour in 12 days when I went. I would definitely recommend the 22 days. So you get to tick off the icons, so Uluru, Sydney Harbour, Great Ocean Road. You get to visit the Great Barrier Reef, but we take it at a leisurely pace. So you really appreciate each stop. There's time to meet the kangaroos and the koalas in Adelaide, and time to relax on the Queensland's famous beaches, which is the bit I didn't do because I was rushing through it here, there and everywhere. But it's just a lovely tour. 22 days, starts from 5,699 per person. 19 hotels, 2 nights spent in flight, obviously with the time differences. And again, quite heavy on the meals on this one. You've got 21 meals, breakfast pretty much every day plus a lunch. There are 17 excursions included on this trip. And that really comes back to what Titan does. We don't take you anywhere and not include the obvious thing to do. We don't want to take you to the Grand Canyon and say, oh, by the way, if you want to actually go in, you have to pay for it. Everything is included with us. If we put it as an excursion, we've already covered the cost of that in the cost of your holiday. Grand Tour of Australia is a slightly longer tour at 30 days. It goes up to 6,899, but you are getting 27 nights on this one. And it's a great way to really soak up the sunshine in the country's greatest cities. You get time to sample the Shiraz in some of the finest wine regions in the world. You'll get to meet the wildlife, and we'll get into the outback, the rainforest and the parkland on that tour. We've got highlights of Australia back down to 19 days. So we do the World Heritage Sites, the national parks, 3 state capitals. You'll have time to swim with the rainbow fish in tropical Queensland, and then we get away from it all in the Northern Territories and the remote bed centre. Do 3 nights each in Sydney, Melbourne and Perth, and it gives us plenty of time to see the sites. 3 laid-back days in the coastal area of Cairns, the perfect breather midway through this tour as well. So it gives you time to sort of be on the go in the cities, chill down at the beaches, and then go on the go again. The Great Antipodean, can't say this word, the Great Antipodean Odyssey. Now this is a fabulous tour because it includes Australia and New Zealand. So it's perfectly balanced to cover both countries. In Australia, you spend 3 nights each on the waterside cities of Perth and Sydney, snorkel the Great Barrier Reef and watch the sunset over Uluru. And then into the land of the long white cloud, you'll learn Maori traditions in North Island and then marvel at the majestic scenery and the mountain back lakes and glaciers, fords and winelands in South Island. So that starts from 6,899, that one. What I would say is if Australia and New Zealand are on your list, at the moment, they're only a £49 per person deposit. All the tours with the exclusion of anything including Rocky Mountaineer or a cruise are £49. Our flexi deposit allows you to book that. And if you need to amend your tour to an alternative date or an alternative tour up until balance due date, you can do so. So if you are interested in Australia for 22 or 23, I would say book it now while the deposit's low, secure your place. And if things in travel do change, as it has done over the last 2 years, and hopefully we're beyond all of that now, and it does look like we're certainly on our road to recovery, but you have got that flexibility. But I certainly wouldn't wait another 6 months to be booking Australia for 23 because I don't think you'll get it. The availability really is causing problems. If you just want to do New Zealand, you've got Best of New Zealand and the Great New Zealand Discovery. Again, similar to the Australia trips, you've got a 21-day or a 27-day trip. And it really is how much time you've got and what you really want to focus on. So in the Best of New Zealand, it's an introduction really to the dramatic scenery of North and South Island. So you get the snow-capped Southern Alps, the fjords, glaciers, the natural hot springs, and the award-winning wine region. Then you'll spend some laid-back city time. So you've got 2 nights in each capital city, Wellington and the City of Sails, Auckland. And then you finish your New Zealand itinerary with 3 nights in the Bay of Islands, home to the soaring sand dunes and the rugged coastline. If you do the Great New Zealand itinerary, it's all the best bits of both islands, but there's also whale watching, wine tasting, fjord cruising, and some opportunities to get an insight into the Maori culture as we make our way from Christchurch to Auckland. Few others that I think are worthy of note: Tracks of Africa and Grand Safari Kenya, both beautiful trips in Africa. We've got the Southern African Safari and the Sensational South Africa, which is the #1 telling tour. So in Sensational South Africa, we head out to spot the Big Five and the local inhabitants in a 4-wheel drive in renowned Kruger National Park. We travel the dramatic Garden Route coastal road before taking a cruise along the wildlife-rich Knysna Lagoon. And then we head south and end your South Africa holiday with 4 nights enjoying beautiful Cape Town, including Table Mountain and Boulders Beach. If Africa is something that's of interest to you, we have a wealth of fabulous itineraries. And whether you're focused on the winelands, the garden route, or the animals, then we've got an itinerary that will match that for you. And again, some amazing accommodation. We've got some tours staying at Mala Mala, some tours staying at Plainsburg, which has got a malarial-free game drive. So in terms of brochures, oh, I've got an out-of-date brochure there, apologies. We have our new worldwide brochure that's actually not a Fiordland view in purple, but actually green with a bear on at the moment. I'm not quite sure how that's not been picked up. All of our brochures can be picked up in any Miles Morgan branch. They all hold a stock of that. But if you would like one delivered to your door, phone your local branch and they will actually order one from me and we'll have it posted direct out to you, but it's still with a call to go back to your Miles Morgan branch. We have also got an exclusive this week for you. For anybody that books on the basis of this talk, then we'll also be sending you some wine at your balance due stage, and that's a gift from Miles Morgan to say thank you. So I'm done, Miles. I'm going to stop sharing. I'll wait for him to come back on. And I can answer any questions that you have.
Here we are. I'm back on. Just as my phone starts ringing, I'm back on. That's great. Hang on, let me just pop that over there. Thank you, Michelle. That was fantastic. I'm going to be dreadful to you now, and I'm going to put you completely on the spot now.
Oh.
You have done quite a number of Titan tours.
I have.
If you had to personally pick out one that you think people watching this should really, really do, A, which one would it be, and B, why?
So the one that I would say over and over, I actually took out of the talk today just because I know the availability is an issue, but my number one talk is the Footsteps of the Incas. It was the last tour I did before COVID. It was unexpected and it was just mind-blowing. People talk about being changed by travel all the time, and I've always been, I'm very well traveled, as you know. We've worked in the industry for over 20 years and I've been to some amazing places, both high-end and low-budget stuff, and we've traveled extensively, but nothing prepared me for Peru. I loved the people, I loved the landscape, I loved the variety from going to the likes of vibrant cities like Cusco and Lima to then Arequipa, which was a much poorer city, up into the mountains and seeing real people. I think that was the thing for the Peru trip, is I never felt like anywhere we went there was sort of the tourist brigade, that the locals that have been dragged out in special dress for us. It was all local people, it was all amazing experiences. The food there was phenomenal. I'm quite a picky eater. I have lots of food allergies, so eating the boar can sometimes be a nightmare for me. It wasn't a problem at all in Peru. They dealt with all sorts of different food issues in our group. So we had some gluten-free, we had some vegetarians, myself that doesn't eat cheese, not that that's a big dish in Peru anyway. But yeah, I loved that trip. And if you can do Footsteps of the Incas, I would recommend everybody puts it on the bucket list.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, what you said there was that you were looking for like an authentic experience, and we hear that more and more from our customers as they're going to see the true country and the authentic experience. Would you say that's encapsulated on a Titan tour?
Absolutely, it's something that our product managers have been working on over the last 4 or 5 years. Is, as you say, gone are the days of follow the man with the red umbrella. People want to immerse themselves in a destination. They want to see it, do it, touch it, taste it. And Titan customers are very worldly customers. They're very independent travelers. And we hear time and time again, oh, we've always put our tours together ourselves. We've always self-driven. And then they come on a Titan tour and they're absolutely hooked. And that's because we're not driving you from place to place and watching the world from outside a coach window. We like to really immerse them in the local scenery. We want to stop, we want to meet people, and I say all the tours now try and incorporate something as a local tradition, or I say whether you're stopping, the one that stood out to me in Australia is we went to a working cattle farm and did some paper making with the wife of the farmer. And it was a very weird experience, but absolutely fantastic and amazing thing. And to see millions of cattle as you drove through that cattle farm was amazing. I say in Ethiopia, you can go and have a coffee in one of the local families. In Vietnam, there's a rural farm visit there as well.
It is interesting though, because you're right. It has changed an awful lot over the years from that follow the umbrella that I'm holding to, and it's following what customers are looking for, I guess. I mean, and equally at the other end of the equation on that, I was at a customer event in Yeovil yesterday, and I met some Titan customers at that. And for them, it's the hassle-free experience is why they book. They want to see the world and travel the world, but actually they don't want any hassle. And so, you know, the door-to-door pickup and the way they're looked after means they can go and enjoy themselves without worrying about this, that, the rest of it, you know, because it's all done for them.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of little things. The Titan tour managers, I didn't probably sell this enough when I was doing the talk then. Your Titan tour manager is there 24/7, and they actually fly out on about 70% of the tours with our customers from London. So they've got that handheld experience from the minute they arrive at the airport all the way through. I should say nothing is too much trouble for the tour managers. They're there. The tour manager is exactly as we say, they're not your local guide. We bring local guides in to bring your local history to life, because ultimately I could be a tour guide, but there's no point me driving to Chepstow and telling you what the best restaurant is. You're better placed to do that for me. So we see the value in local guides, but the tour managers are there almost like a concierge. They're there to make sure it runs from A to B brilliantly well and smoothly, and to keep it all on track. And what we do get is feedback about tour managers all the time, where they'll come to us and say, oh, Marcus was absolutely brilliant. What tours are you running next year? And they'll book onto that tour with that tour manager again, because they formed such a bond with the tour manager. Mm. The other benefit in terms of social distancing at the moment is the headsets. So the majority, all the European tours feature them. Africa, Japan, a lot of the sort of further afield ones now. And it's basically like the Whisper Sync boxes. So you get a single earpiece, a lanyard with a little radio box, and you can be up to 100 meters away from the tour manager who's talking, but actually walk at your own pace, wander at your own leisure. and still be attached to the group, but not feel like, I say, you've got to follow the man with the red umbrella.
Again, small thing that, but God, it makes a big difference. You know, the days of having to crowd around the person because you can't. Can you hear what they're saying? Can you hear? You haven't got that anymore. You know, you can be stood where you like, looking at the architecture or whatever, and still hear exactly what's said. It does make a huge difference.
I remember going to Cologne, and for me, I was a solo passenger on that trip. So I travelled out on my own, and I went into the cathedral, and they were talking about stained glass windows and the story of that and the history. And I thought that's lovely, but I actually just wanted to see the crypt downstairs. I'd heard stories about stuff that was written on the walls downstairs. So I'd left my group, I went straight into the crypt, and I was a bit absorbed. Anyway, I could still hear him, as in my mind, he was whittering on about the windows. I'm sure it was very interesting for those that were interested, but I kind of had zoned out a bit. And then I heard him say, we're done in here, we're going to head outside. You'll find me sat in a cafe across the way. It's got bright yellow umbrellas. We'll give you all about 45 minutes to wander at leisure, and if you meet me there at 1:15. So I'd heard that. So I wandered up to the church, like the main floor of the church, about 15 minutes later, and couldn't see anyone from my group. But I didn't worry. I walked out the front door, looked across, found the yellow umbrellas, thought, yeah, that's fine. I've got time to wander off. Went and got a bottle of water and an ice cream. And I could suddenly realise I'd walked back into zone. As I was walking across in front of the cathedral, I suddenly heard, oh, that's just on 10 past. If you all want to start making your way back towards the yellow umbrellas, we'll move on. And that's, as a solo passenger, that gave me so much confidence to know that I could go and do the bits I wanted. I didn't have to feel attached to the group, but I didn't feel lost or isolated from it either.
Yeah. Please ask a question. Tap the facility and put something in the chat. Carol has asked what the average group size is on an escorted tour.
It varies dramatically on destination. So the big tours, like Southern California, we do have an allocation of up to 44. Very rarely do we sell them at that sort of level. You would expect in the region of about 35 on a tour, but less. I know India, for example, we often go with about 27 on the tours to India, but they can go up to about a maximum of 44. Unless it's one of the small group tours, and then you have got the maximum group size listed on each tour, and it's on a logo. Hang on, I've got a brochure here. Hang on, let's see if I can find one with a logo so I can show you. Yeah, so here we go. I don't know if I hold this up to the camera here, but you've got this little logo here.
Yeah, got that.
And that actually has a number in it. So that small group has got a maximum group size of 24 people, and it won't go above that number. Now, the small groups will travel with a low balance, so you can get as few as 4 people on those tours and it will still travel.
Okay, and on the tour, am I going to be with Americans, Australians? Am I going to be with British people? What's the mix of nationality?
Titan's a UK based company. We've been in the UK for 44 years now, and we only sell in the UK market. So whilst, for example, an American couple could fly over from America and join a Titan tour in the UK if that's what they chose to do, and then fly back out to Australia or whatever, but actually we only sell in the UK market. We don't sell tour only very often, as in just the land element, but we can do that for a UK based customer. I think I did it for one of your shops where actually they didn't want to fly. So we had customers that sailed into Sydney on a cruise. We put them on the Australia tour that finished in Perth, and then they sailed home from Perth.
I mean, there again, in the question you've answered there, you know, it does show for anybody watching this that if you want a Titan tour, you want it part of a bigger trip, then, you know, pop into one of our shops. We can tailor make things, move things around, whatever to suit what you're looking for. And we do find, in fairness to Titan, they're excellent at that sort of stuff. And we'll always find a way to say yes is our experience, which is always good.
Generally, the tours, we'd say do travel on them in their entirety where you can. But if somebody is flying in from somewhere else and joining us, then we tend to say day 1 or day 2 is fine. And again, leaving a day early if they need to. Again, if they're going off on another cruise or something to that effect. We can also back to back our itineraries. So we have quite a few people that will do a Great Australian followed by the Best of New Zealand, and then we'll just add a couple of nights accommodation in between. So we try and cater for all requests where we can. Again, they can upgrade flights, they can upgrade rooms. There's a lot of flexibility there.
Brilliant. Well, I can't see any other questions in the chat facility. So thank you, Michelle, for fantastic presentation. I really enjoyed it. It was like seeing the whole of the world in a little snapshot this afternoon, and made me realise how lucky we are. There are so many wonderful places to visit. And you know what stuck out for me, I particularly like the look of the American Rocky Mountaineer.
I know, doesn't it look fabulous?
Yeah,
I would
it really
say
does.
we have got customers now traveling, and it's lovely. We've actually got a group currently out in Costa Rica, and we get updates every couple of days from them. And it's lovely to see people traveling and enjoying traveling again, and not just nipping to Tenerife for a quick week because they can. They're actually going off on proper tours, which is brilliant.
Yeah, we're on the turn. It's wonderful. So if you want any more information, or you have a question supplementary that you want to ask, then please pop into your local Miles Morgan travel shop. They can get in touch with Michelle quite easily. They speak to Michelle all the time. Equally, if you want to take advantage of the offer or any of the tours that Michelle talked about for either for this year on the availability they've got, or for next year, because obviously a lot of people are already putting plans in place for 23, then do get in touch. But in the meantime, Michelle, thank you very much.
Problem. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Everybody for joining this afternoon. We hope you enjoyed the little ray of escorted touring sunshine that you saw this afternoon. And fingers crossed you'll be booking and traveling on something soon. But thanks, Michelle, and thanks, everybody. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.